A woman is on the run across the country as a mysterious organization is on her tail. Unbeknownst to her, her desperate attempts to escape might actually doom the entire world. A blood-soaked Jessica walks down an empty residential area, looking for signs of danger. She soon arrives at her house, washes the blood off her face, and changes her clothes. As she does, Jessica discovers a ring inside one of the socks, revealing that her boyfriend planned to propose to her. Before she can process this, quiet footsteps reach her, alerting her of the armed men that arrived. Immediately, Jessica escapes through the window. As the sun sets, she sneaks into a mechanic's garage and steals a hoodie. She uses this to remain hidden as she makes her way out of town. She even hides in the back of a man's truck to get away. In the morning, Elsa tries to motivate herself with a gun in hand and her pack of medicine close by. Ultimately, she decides to take her medicine to continue with the day. Her employer, Raymond, soon drops by, noticing her limp. Elsa explains that she just pulled a muscle while jogging. Raymond starts complimenting her house, but the woman is distracted when Sal calls her phone. She rejects the call and asks her visitor to get on with business. With that, Raymond tells her that their contract has been in progress for the last 36 hours, and it's spiraling out of control. He gives her the contract, asserting that they need the best to settle it. Elsa reads the brief as Raymond shares that their target is trying to cross the border, which they can't let happen. Meanwhile, Jessica wakes up as the truck has stopped. Hearing the driver step out, she sneaks into the driver's side to grab some food and a map before heading into the nearby woods. After getting deep into the woods, she eats while checking the map for a way to get to Canada. Jessica spends the day walking through the woods, and by nightfall, she stumbles upon a quiet barn. The woman spends the night there but struggles to sleep as she looks on at the ring she found. Eventually, she falls asleep, only to dream about her days being trapped in a decrepit room. The next day, Elsa arrives at the spot where Jessica snuck into the parked truck 2 nights ago. From the security camera nearby, her contact Vince realizes that their target is heading to Canada instead of Mexico, given that the man who owned the truck was heading north. Meanwhile, Jessica exits the barn and checks the nearby shed for food, only for the owner, Frank, to catch her. Seeing the woman needing help, he invites her to his house for breakfast. There, Jessica eats voraciously, making Frank's wife, Janie, think she's homeless. The woman claims that she's traveling, so the wife wonders about her fiancé, noticing the ring on her finger. Jessica hides the ring and just claims that he's not with her at the moment. Sensing the woman's hesitance, Janie drops the subject and offers to let her take a bath. The woman takes her offer, and as soon as she leaves, Frank steals her leftover bacon. While in the bathroom, Jessica snoops into the couple's medicine shelf and pockets something from it. She then heads out without showering, telling Janie that she decided to just leave. The woman offers to let her husband drive her, insisting that Frank needs something to do while she needs some alone time. With that, Jessica approaches Frank and tells him that she's heading to Port View near the Canadian border. As the man changes his engine oil, the woman wonders about his horses, noting that she saw items for them in his barn. She knows this because she grew up on a farm as well. Frank admits that he sold his horses since he couldn't take care of them anymore. The two spend the rest of the day driving north to get Jessica close to the border. Late that night, she wakes up in the truck as Frank has reached as far as he can go. She thanks him for the ride, but the man adds that they also packed supplies to help her through her journey. Jessica is speechless by their generosity, so the worried Frank offers to just take her back to the farm where she can live peacefully and help out. The woman sadly declines, so Frank just advises her to be careful since not many people are kind. As the woman proceeds with her journey, Elsa spends time in a motel room working out. In the morning, she picks up her phone after hearing it buzz, but stumbles and hits her head. This causes her to bleed, so she cleans up and drinks medicine. However, she gets frustrated by her condition and lashes out in the bathroom. After fixing herself up, she enters a video call with a caregiver named Sal and an ALS patient, Laura. Elsa has apparently been diagnosed with ALS 6 months ago, but she hasn't told anyone else yet. Laura sympathizes with how she must feel like she'll burden those close to her, so she wonders if Elsa's thought about ending things. The woman admits this, so the patient tells her that it's vain to do so since it will just cause others misery. Meanwhile, Jessica continues her journey and soon stops to rest, all while thinking of her camping trip with her boyfriend Ian. Their time was interrupted when a dog approached, so the woman checked on it despite Ian's warning that it could be feral. Jessica bonds with the dog through the night, giving it warmth and food. In the present, the woman eventually reaches a small town. At the same time, Elsa tries out a walking cane while speaking to Vince, who complains about how his wife planned a vacation without telling him, so he urges Elsa to also take a break at some point. She refuses since she's not yet ready to let go of her mission. She approaches her investigation board to track down Jessica, glancing over the photos of Ian and the corpse of the dog the woman found in the woods. Elsewhere, Jessica goes to an empty bar, asking the manager, Molly, if she has a job vacancy. When Molly says no, the woman just asks for a drink. The women share a whiskey, giving a toast to a new life. Sensing that the woman needs help, Molly changes her mind and asks her to clean the place. That evening, Jessica helps out around the bar. While she does, she recalls finding insect bites on her feet after returning home from camping. Ian thought the dog gave her fleas, though his girlfriend didn't regret helping it out until her boyfriend found more welts on his body. Jessica snaps out of this memory when Molly asks her about her ring. The woman admits it's from her boyfriend, and thinking that she's running from him, the bar manager sympathizes given that she also had to escape a violent husband. After their shift, Molly offers to let Jessica crash on her couch. She also assures her that the town is a good place to stop her journey. However, the woman admits that she's only ever lived on a farm and a small city, so she hopes to see the world. Hearing this, Molly supports her decision. The next day, Elsa struggles to even button her shirt, frustrating her. Suddenly, someone from the hospital calls her about a patient who matched certain symptoms. Quickly, the woman drives to the patient's address but wears a hazmat suit before going in. She ends up going to Frank and Janie's house, as they were the ones who reported their symptoms. As she's searching for the couple, Elsa announces that Jessica's carrying a rare strain of the Ebola virus, which they seem to have caught. No one responds, so Elsa keeps looking and finds blood in the kitchen sink. She then sees Janie outside, so she follows her into the barn only to find the woman maddened and bloody. Elsa goes for her gun as the woman approaches, but Frank grabs her, making her drop her weapon. The crazed man screams at her, so Elsa pushes him off, grabs her weapon, and shoots the couple. Days before this, Jessica woke up to Ian cuffing while the welts in his body had blackened. She called the ambulance for him, but the vehicle took them into a warehouse where men in hazmat suits placed a bag over Jessica's head and apprehended her. After Elsa's encounter with the elderly couple, she calls Raymond, asserting that whatever the virus Jessica's carrying isn't Ebola. The man merely says that it's a virus that was never meant to get out. The fleas they experimented on found a new host in the dog that Jessica found in the woods, and it transferred the virus to her. Raymond also mentioned that they used to have a cure for the virus, but now they don't. Elsa wonders who else knows about this, but Raymond insists that only those who need to know were informed. With that, the woman demands further intel to do her job, so Raymond sends it to her tablet. The virus is more contagious than measles, has an incubation period of 2 days, and can only be transmitted through direct contact with infected fluids. Jessica happens to be an asymptomatic carrier, therefore they need her. Elsa worries that they won't be able to contain this, but Raymond assures her that everyone Jessica has come in contact with is already being isolated. They just need to bring her in. The woman wonders if their target even knows about the virus, so Raymond reveals that Jessica doesn't. Instead, she believes that she is on the run for murder. Days ago, as they kept Jessica in isolation, the man delivering her meal found her room dark. Despite this, the man was ordered to check on her, so he stepped inside, allowing Jessica to run while carrying the light bulb she dismantled. The man managed to tackle her down, but she ripped his suit's helmet off. Panicked, he punched her and tried to radio for help. However, Jessica got up and ran, so he chased after her only for the woman to slam the light bulb against his neck, killing him. The panicked woman then made her escape but found a disfigured Ian in another isolation room. He begged for help, but his room was locked. Alarms blared just as Ian collapsed, forcing Jessica to run, not seeing how her boyfriend turned moments later. Learning of these events, Elsa scolds Raymond for not giving her enough resources to contain an international outbreak. With that, her employer admits that they were hired by Aldengen Technologies, which the government hired for gain-of-function research. However, the government isn't aware of the virus they created, so until they capture Jessica, they can't let anyone else know about the strain. After much contemplation, Elsa decides to quit, revealing her ALS diagnosis. To her surprise, Raymond already knew and actually chose her for the assignment specifically because of this. He believes that a talented fixer who has no family and nothing to look forward to is the right person to bring Jessica back at all costs. The implication horrifies Elsa, yet she can't say anything to argue. Elsewhere, Jessica prepares for the day and knocks on Molly's bedroom door, announcing that she's heading out to buy food. Molly doesn't respond, so her visitor leaves, unaware that her new friend is already suffering from the virus. Meanwhile, Vince sends Elsa a social media post from one of the patrons at Molly's bar last night. In the background, they see Jessica working, giving them her location. The other bar patrons had already been detained, but the last they saw Jessica was after closing up with Molly. They haven't tracked down Molly, given that she's been keeping a low profile to hide from her ex. As he works on tracking her, Vin shares his suspicions that their mission isn't just to contain a new Ebola strain. Elsa can't bring herself to tell him the truth, so she ignores this and just asks for the bar's address. In town, Jessica picks up groceries when she stops in front of a store where a cat is sitting by the window. This is where Elsa finally finds her target. She tells Vince this, so their team calls for backup while Elsa prepares to approach the target. However, Jessica notices her car and immediately suspects the woman inside, so she starts walking away. With no choice, the fixer dons a mask and gloves before following her. However, she struggles to walk given her sickness. Desperate, she pulls out her gun and orders the woman to stop, but Jessica bolts away instead. Elsa tries to catch up but ends up stumbling over, thus losing sight of the target. Jessica arrives back at Molly's house late that afternoon after making sure she wasn't followed. However, since she's been found, the woman calls out to her friend, announcing that she is leaving. When Molly still doesn't answer, Jessica finally opens the door to her bedroom, only to see her friend's bloody form. Meanwhile, Elsa coordinates with Vince to find where Molly is. However, given that the small and remote town doesn't have many security cameras, they can't tell where Molly went after her shift at the bar. They've also scoured all motels in the area but found no trace of Jessica. Given this, Elsa demands to have any contact Molly has in town, figuring that she's staying at someone's house. During this, a panicked Jessica hurriedly packs her bag to leave when she hears movement from the bedroom. This surprises her since she's sure that Molly is dead, so the woman cautiously heads upstairs to check. Before she can open the door, Molly rushes out, wailing and convulsing. She goes for Jessica, who races down the stairs. However, Molly pushes her against the wall, so Jessica slams a nearby book on her before grabbing a cast iron pan, ending the violent creature with it. As Jessica cries over what happened, she realizes that her hair is falling. By morning, Elsa's finally found the remote residence where Molly'd been staying. When no one answers the door, she peeks into the window and finds Molly's corpse. Because of this, she dons her hazmat suit, though Raymond calls to order her to wait for backup. However, Elsa points out that the residence is too close to the Canadian border, so she can't risk letting Jessica cross before backup arrives. Elsa proceeds to check the area in her hazmat suit with a gun in hand. She finds a nearby hangar, so she goes there and sees Jessica looking into the mountain range that's separating her from Canada. Elsa aims her gun at her but asserts that she's there to help. She reveals that Jessica is a healthy carrier of a virus that she's been unwittingly spreading. However, the woman turns, revealing her nearly bald head and welts on her face, pointing out that she's no longer healthy. Still, the fixer points out that she's still alive despite having carried the disease for days. She orders her to come with her, but Jessica starts approaching threateningly, prompting Elsa to shoot her in the stomach. Despite this, Jessica runs out towards the mountains with her disabled pursuers struggling to keep up. Desperate, Elsa removes her hazmat helmet, allowing her to aim properly and shoot Jessica's leg. This stops her from running, so Elsa approaches, asserting that they need her blood to find a cure. However, the mournful Jessica cries, refusing to be detained again. Elsa asserts the importance of finding a cure, revealing that Molly, Ian, and even Frank and Janie are dead because of the virus they contracted from her. This makes Jessica wail in anguish. She begs that she only wants to explore the world, so with an apology, Jessica starts limping to her escape. Despite sympathizing with the unfortunate woman, Elsa shoots her again. She takes a moment to grieve her actions before reporting the woman's fate. The woman then removes her earpiece before approaching the dying woman. She holds her hand to give her what little comfort she can give as the sun rises. After this, all traces of Jessica's existence are deleted to ensure that news of how she nearly spread an apocalyptic disease will remain a secret. Weeks later, Elsa's back in her apartment trying to find a will to get through the day. After much thought, she drinks her medicine, choosing to continue. Soon, Sal visits her to discuss her options as she goes through her disease. Seeing her dread this, the caregiver assures her that she can still live her life despite her condition. To start, he recommends renovating her home to make it easier for her to move around. Suddenly, Sal starts coughing violently, making Elsa worry if she had actually stopped the virus from spreading.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.